do you want? A choice. A chance.
There's your chance. Take it.
Grateful.
The day will come when you won't be.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Back again with another throwback review for The Walking Dead. This is going to be for Season 4, Episode 5, entitled Internment. Alright, guys, the episode starts out with Rick arriving back at the prison. He meets Maggie, who is busy clearing walkers from the fence. After Rick asks about Carl, Maggie questions him on Carol's whereabouts. After he avoids it with another question, she demands him to tell her. He tells her what happened to Carol, asking whether or not she'd do the same. After hesitance, Maggie agrees, but insists she wouldn't be able to actually commit to it. Rick tells her to follow her instincts before leaving. Rick heads to the administration building where he gives a bag of food to Carl. Inside A block, things get worse when a few members get sick. Henry cannot breathe, and Herschel inserts a tube into his throat along with an air pump. Sasha and Glenn take shifts pumping air into his throat, beginning with Sasha. Glenn and Herschel find Mr. Jacobson dead and blood covering his face from his nose and mouth. Glenn attempts to kill him when Herschel warns him of not doing it in front of everyone. When they get him out of the cell, Herschel is unable to put him down, and Glenn does so. Later on, Maggie comes to visit Glenn through the window, but Herschel tells her that Glenn is resting and tells her to stay out. When Herschel starts closing everyone's cell doors, as Dr. S had warned him to, a man storms out of his cell, suffocating from the blood in his lungs. An extremely weak Sasha helps Herschel, but put him on a bed with wheels before she gets too weak to help him. He warns her to return to her cell, and he brings the body into the room with the window. He fails to put the man down and has to cover his face before he can do it. Rick witnesses Herschel stab the man in the face and tells him about Carol. When Herschel returns to the cell block, he continues to close cell doors. However, upon seeing a collapsed Sasha, he runs to her, leaving a cell with a female walker open. Herschel notices that Sasha has passed out due to dehydration, and he revives her. She tells him of how she used to calculate everything to live as long as possible, and that she is thankful for his stupid behavior. He then starts to close more cell doors when he spots Norris and his son passed out in the same cell. The father warns him that he wants to stay by his son's side and locks the cell door. Soon after, Glenn was pumping air for Henry, but he dies. When Glenn attempts to call out for help, he starts choking on his own blood and passes out. Lizzie finds him as the man starts to reanimate. Lizzie calls for help, which gets the attention of the female walker behind Herschel. The female walker jumps on Herschel and pins him to the ground. The father leaves his cell with a gun, and his reanimated son follows him. A blonde woman comes to his rescue and pulls the walker off Herschel, potentially saving his life. However, the father's son attacks his father from behind, to which he accidentally fires a gunshot that kills the woman. The gunshot echoes through the prison to Maggie and Rick, who are fortifying the fence. Rick warns her to go help the people in cell block A. Meanwhile, Lizzie leads the walker away from Glenn as Maggie arrives and attempts to open the door, but without success. Herschel gets up and runs towards Lizzie, who gets pinned by the walker. He manages to throw the walker over the catwalk. He sticks Lizzie in Luke's cell, and he goes to get the shotgun from Dr. S. However, he has already turned. Dr. S grabs Herschel as the female walker starts to move up the stairs. With sadness, Herschel breaks one of Dr. S's arms and kills him. He proceeds to kill 3 walkers after leading them out of the children's sight. He realizes he needs the air pump and climbs onto the metal fence that the walker from before had landed. He ends up getting pinned. Maggie heads to the visitor's room and smashes a window to get into A block. She kills the reanimated father and the walker that pinned Herschel, and the two head to help Glenn, who has stopped breathing. Outside the fence gives way, and a horde of walkers get in. Rick and Carl run into the courtyard, where they get assault rifles and gun down the many walkers. Right after they finish, the van with Daryl, Michonne, Tyrese, and Bob finally return. Daryl and Michonne run out of the van to go help, while Bob and Tyrese head to A block. Tyrese goes and cradles his sister in his arms, while Bob goes to administer drugs to Glenn. The next morning, Rick returns to his usual routine, splashing water on his face. He is about to go talk to Daryl when Carl comes along. Rick instead decides to spend time with Carl harvesting the garden. Herschel helps Michonne and Daryl load up the dead bodies. Daryl asks where Carol is, and Herschel avoids the question by telling him that she is fine, but talk to Rick about her. Michonne extends an offer to Herschel to join her, and he accepts. Outside the prison, the governor is seen observing the prison from a distance as we fade to black. So yeah, this is definitely our Herschel central episode. Really cool to see him get some big moments and big time in this episode. Yeah, guys, that was the quick review rundown of Season 4, Episode 5, Internment. I appreciate you checking this out as always. And like, comment, most importantly, subscribe. And I'll be back next time with the next review. Y'all be good.
Welcome to Woodburn.
Pushing my pants yet?